Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back, friends. So, we were talking about Greek names, names that are derived from Greek mythology. Greek mythology, as we all know, is extremely rich. I do suggest that you take a very good look at the names written, the words written here on the blackboard. Many a time in higher order writing and reading, you do come across these names, and since you are taking this course, we of course do not want you to get stuck at any point. So, these names are taken from Greek mythology, and they have come to become an integral part of our language. So, the first word that I wanted to do with you today is Apollonian. Apollonian, relating to the god Apollo. Now, you do come across, this is a very common name. You have Apollo is stamped all over. There are businesses, industries, several corporates which are named Apollo, even in our country. What does it mean? See, according to the Greek mythology, Apollo was a Greek god, of course, related to the rational and ordered and self-disciplined aspect of human nature. This is opposite to Dionysian. So, when you say Apollonian, which is based on order, reasoning and rationality, and the antonym is Dionysian, which is not irrational, but more based on instincts and chaos. It is chaotic. Instincts can be chaotic. Of course, we all know that human nature can be ordered and rational also, but it is very important that there has to be a balance between Apollonian and Dionysian. So, Dionysian given too much to sensibilities, and Apollonian given too much to senses. Okay? So, to have a common sense, Jane Austen writes Sense and Sensibility. There has to be not too much of any one emotion, or too much of any one instinct is bad for us. That is what it is commonly believed. So, it is always between struggle between cold Apollonian categorization and Dionysian chaos. That is the way. So, Apollonian, a decision was taken with Apollonian rationality or order. That is the way it is used. Next word is Adonis. Adonis, a beautiful man in Greek mythology. Adonis comes out of the myrrh tree, and naturally many women fell in love with him. Most importantly, someone called Aphrodite. The name is written somewhere over there. Aphrodite, yes, in the extreme corner, Aphrodite. She fell in love with the beautiful man, and goddess Aphrodite sheltered Adonis as a newborn baby and entrusted him to someone called Persephone. Now, Persephone was also enamored of Adonis' beauty and refused to give him back to Aphrodite. So, there is a dispute between two beautiful women over the possession of this man. The dispute between the two goddesses was settled by Zeus, the supreme god. Adonis, then it was a decision was taken that Adonis has to spend 1/3 of every year with each goddess, and third with whoever he chooses. Adonis naturally was extremely proud of all the attention he was getting. Naturally, he was finally killed by a wild boar. said to have been sent viciously by someone called, and again this is a deity, Artemis, because Adonis was also an accomplished hunter. So, Artemis, also you must have come across several, Artemis's bow and Artemis's arrow, those terms. So, he was a very skilled hunter, and but jealous of Adonis. So, the wild boar was sent by Artemis to kill Adonis. So, Adonis, a beautiful man, a beautiful youth. We do not call a beautiful woman Adonis, it is always for men. Another word is Amazon. Now, Amazon you are all familiar with, it is a very popular website, but mythologically it were Amazons were a race of women warriors. So, we also call Amazonians, a woman who is willing to or ready to fight. So, this is Amazonian woman. Next word is ambrosia, the food of the gods, so delicious, so wholesome, so nourishing, ambrosia. It can be used in several contexts. Ambrosia, the meal is almost ambrosia. Of course, it is very archaic. People do not say this meal is ambrosia, but ambrosia fit to be a meal fit to be ambrosia for gods. So, perhaps you may come across. Yeah, it may also be used in a very satirical way. You have to make up your mind. So, see, you have to be very careful. See, understand these words, know these words, learn these words. They may occur anytime, anywhere. As people who are interested in developing your language skills, this is important to know. These words are important to know. So, next word is Cyclops, it is written over there. Cyclops are a member of a race of savage one-eyed giants. Remember, they had one eyes. The great Greek poet Homer, we have been talking about Homeric proportion, gigantic proportion in terms of its stature. Homer was not a giant, he was a poet, but when today we say Homeric, it means someone who is super accomplished, super skilled in anything. So, Homeric accomplishment. So, Homer, the writer of Iliad and Odyssey, and in the Odyssey the king Odysseus escaped death by blinding the Cyclops, one of the Cyclops, Polyphemus. So, what does it mean? Already they had one eye, and the king, our king Odysseus, he escapes death by blinding the Cyclops, Polyphemus. Okay, so one eye. So, this is the idea. So, Cyclops, one-eyed giant. Elysian fields. Next word is Elysian fields. This is a very positive word, lands of the blessed. In Homer's Odyssey, Elysium is described as a paradise, near paradise, to the Elysian plain where life is easiest for men. That is the idea. So, this is the term in which. So, do not think that it is we have already done a word like the river Styx, S-T-Y-X, and Hades, so that is the bottom, then the lowest of the low, okay, the pit of suffering. Elysian, the apogee of happiness and bliss. Next word is gargantuan, very commonly or frequently occurring word, very large. It is related to size. Okay. Sometimes we say a problem of gargantuan proportions. We do not generally say a beauty of gargantuan proportion, but we say a building, a structure of gargantuan proportion. Our gargantuan appetite, eat so much. Next word, halcyon, denoting a period of time in the past that was idyllically happy and peaceful, halcyon days, halcyon days of beauty, halcyon days of success, halcyon days of fame. Those were the days. So, halcyon days. A superstar cricketer, today he is just a retired sportsman, occasionally giving interviews or commenting on the proceedings of the match, but we have to say in his halcyon days he was a cricketer who was, you know, at the peak of his form, on the top of his form. Some of the synonyms for halcyon is like calm, peaceful, okay, placid, blissful. So, all in all, something that was very pleasant and positive. Next word is Olympian. Now, you are of course familiar with the word Olympics. Now, this is associated with Mount Olympus somewhere in Greece, and now it is used for with the Greek gods whose home was traditionally held to be there. So, a temple of Olympian Zeus. Now, Olympian, anything that is suggestive of grandeur, of largeness, of huge. So, there is a very subtle difference between gargantuan and Olympian. See, gargantuan is almost monster like, Olympian is almost god like, both are related to huge. So, you decide which is positive, which is negative. Next word is Procrustean. Procrustes was one of the many villains defeated by the Greek hero Theseus. According to the Greek mythology, Procrustes was a robber, a thief who killed his victims in a very cruel way. So, it means tending to produce conformity by violent or arbitrary means, a very negative word. Procrustean measures. Look at all this. Theseus, I just referred to the name Theseus. He was defeated, Procrustes was defeated by Theseus, and he was a robber, Procrustean. Theseus was a hero. In modern terms, when we say Procrustean measures, what we are trying to say, forcing to conform, not confirm, conform to toe the line according to whatever the ruling or authorities are telling you to do. Next word is Pyrrhic. King of Epirus was Pyrrhus. The name comes from Pyrrhus, the king of Epirus. After defeating the Romans, and we are talking about those ancient times, the BCs and also 3rd century, 4th century BC, while sustaining very heavy losses, Pyrrhus declared that one more such victory and I am gone, I am lost forever. Pyrrhic victory is a victory that has been achieved by great loss. It has almost cost you more than what it has gained you. So, you want to prove a point, to say you want to prove your superiority over your relatives, and you say, you know, you are living in this huge mansion and I am going to, and you always look down upon my small house. So, I am going to prove to you that I can build a house as big as yours, and you do that, but at a great cost. You have to sacrifice a lot, maybe you have to work 10 times harder than your capacity, you have to let go of lot of family happiness, personal happiness, and then at the end, yes, you achieved what you wanted, you construct a bigger house, greater or more luxurious house for yourself, which is more than your cousins, more your relatives, but you have gained a Pyrrhic victory, you have lost out on several things which were more important and which could have given you more greater joy and happiness. Next word is Trojan horse. In Greek mythology, this is a hollow wooden statue of a horse in which the Greeks were supposed to have concealed themselves in order to enter Troy. I recommend you watch this movie called Troy, starring Eric Bana and Brad Pitt. There is a Trojan horse, a wooden horse in which the Greek army concealed itself, and then they managed to find their way inside the city of Troy. So, now in modern times it means a person or thing intended to secretly overthrow an enemy by deceit, okay, or by deception, the Trojan horse. I also wanted you to look at this word Oedipal. Now, Oedipal has come to denote Oedipal complex, someone who has lustful feelings towards his mother and hateful feelings towards his father. The name is derived from the title of the play, Oedipus. Okay? Sophocles' Oedipus. But the thing is that in the story, in the play, he was the king was a very good king, very just king. He killed his father unknowingly that he is related or he is really his father, and of course, he married his mother unknowingly as well. When we say Oedipal in today's context, we mean that someone who has an inborn hatred towards anything that is very paternalistic and very domineering, a patriarchal force. It could be one of the meanings, not the exact meaning. Please note that. I am not saying Oedipal is always hatred towards anything that is domineering or paternal. I am just saying that it can also be, if you are given a series of choices, this could be the best choice, that someone who harbors hatred against father-like figure or authoritarian figure. So, these are the terms, and we have been talking about all these names for quite a while. We will do them, we will do a little bit more of this in our subsequent classes. So, be prepared for that. I hope you are doing your assignments also very regularly, and from here I will take you to another exercise. I will show you some definitions, and I would like you to give me the word for that. So, let us look at the first slide. Please look at the slide here. This is your practice. You have to give me one word. Think of a word for this one. Look at the definition here. Someone who tries to get what they want or earn someone's respect by using flattery on those people who would be able to influence their goals. The term has a negative connotation because the person does not attempt to achieve their goals through hard work or sincerity. You curry favor. What's the word here? The answer is sycophant. Synonym is chode, toady. Next practice, look at the slide. This person is an amateur who pretends to be very often to be very knowledgeable about something, about maybe art or cinema or science or politics, someone who tries to express interest in everything, but does not have a specialized knowledge of anything. The answer is dilettante. Again, a very frequently occurring word in competitive exams. Of Italian origin. Originally it meant lover of the arts, but soon it began to take a negative slant. Okay? So, it was not something professionally done, but doing something out of interest. So, the person was merely a lover of art as opposed to someone who actually did it professionally and knew much more than that. So, if you It's like, you know, you're a poser, a showing off. Some of the synonyms here are dabbler, novice, trifler, and amateur, of course. So, antonym would be specialist, a professional. You are not a dabbler, you are not a trifler, you are a specialist, a professional. Look at the next slide, please. This is a loud, bossy woman, a shrewish woman, used only for women. Loud, bossy, shrewish. The word is virago. Please note, not Virgo, virago, virago. A particularly mean kind of a woman. It's not a compliment to call anyone a virago, although its origins were more nobler, like a serious minded woman, but then it is, in today's context, it's screechy and someone who is a scold, a shrew. Originally it was supposed to be a disciplined, a brave woman, heroic woman. The roots or the root of the word virago is the Latin word for man, vir. A virago used to, in other words, mean a woman who seemed masculine or manly. Synonyms for virago are shrew and termagant. Look at the next slide. This is your practice. This is a beginner, a new recruit, or someone who is just learning something. Who is this person? And the answer is tyro. The word is tyro. There could be many other words also, I agree, but I want you to remember some certain words very carefully, with great attention. Tyro is another word that may appear in some form or the other. It means newbie, novice, greenhorn or recruit. All of us have been tyros at some point. Okay? We are the new kids on the block. Someone new on a particular thing. Next word, an incredibly talented musician. Look at the slide, please. Practice. An incredibly talented musician. And the answer is virtuoso. You know, you say the A.R. Rahman's virtuoso performance. Someone who is an expert, skilled in music. See, originally for music, but now it has come to become, to refer to any other field also. Generally, usually this word is applied to music. It is very common for a talented musician to be called a virtuoso. Okay. So, whatever is your talent, a virtuoso performance, an actor, a theatre person, if you are very talented, it is a huge compliment to be called a virtuoso. Look at the next slide. A man who dotes on or really adores his wife. Who is he? The answer is uxorious. Look at the spelling. It is not luxurious, uxorious. It goes back to the Latin root uxor, U-X-O-R, which means wife. And it came into English or in the English language in some time in the 16th or 17th century. It is usually used in a negative connotation, a way to show that a husband has too much concern, he fawns over her too much, which is almost like being a submissive husband. It is also a very old fashioned word, however, it still appears in higher order exams. Next word, please look at the slide. Banter, humorous or witty conversation, light-hearted, frivolity. It is used for conversation, humorous, witty, bantering, light-hearted, frivolity. The word is badinage. B-A-D-I-N-A-G-E. Badinage comes from the French word badiner, B-A-D-I-N-E-R, which means to joke. In literature, there is no better place to find examples than in Shakespeare, Shakespearean comedies. And then nowadays you also find wonderful examples in sitcoms like The Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men. So, in television sitcoms, stand-up comedies, so all these things are quite common. So, badinage. Remember, this is half teasing, non-malicious banter. It is not intended to hurt, but to amuse. So, it is not satirical, poking fun at or making fun of someone or hurting someone. So, these are the words that I would like you to look at. Look at the words which I have not done in detail. For example, Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. So, Adonis, a Greek deity, person who was beautiful beyond words. Shelley has written a poem called Adonis, okay, and where John Keats is his Adonis. Okay, it's a beautiful youth who died in the prime of his life, died very young. Zeus, Homer, Olympian, all these words are used in order to suggest magnitude, something of huge proportions, not just in terms of size, but also in terms of accomplishments and achievements. Pyrrhic, victory, a wasted effort. Yes, you achieved, but at what great cost. In our context, you can use King Ashoka's example. He achieved a victory, but at such a the cost was so destructive. You know, the destruction was so huge that he decided to give up on his victorious ways, yeah, and spread the message of peace all over. So, these are the So, always try to contextualize in your own culture, language, and see things start becoming easy. For example, we were doing the other day Achilles' heels, the baby infant Achilles, he was dipped, but in the waters in the holy river, and the entire body was almost like invincible except the heels. And you can look at a portion from the Mahabharata, Duryodhan's story, that extract or excerpt where his entire body is steeled by one look of his mother except a certain part which becomes vulnerable. So, look at the way mythologies converge, crisscross, and see how interesting, how fun it could be to learn more words and add to your vocabulary. We will continue with more vocabulary development in our next class. Thank you very much.